darling. First of all, I saw her earlier today on video, so I know she was looking quap. Unless you wrapped up in your pajamas in the bed, I'm gonna move you to panelist and then just put you in a bonnet. She's got knew it. In a bonnet is, first of all, I made a whole chicken broccoli casserole in our 6 o'clock hour, and no, you should not get it together. You should just turn on the camera.
You do not have to be on the camera, Adatola. You can totally just do your voice. That's fine. Don't let Katana shame you.
Oh, we just talk. No, all right. She says, "Oh, can I do that, please?"
Yes. Yes.
Fine.
So, Adatola, I want you to hop on and share with me what you think your biggest personal branding struggle is.
Don't worry, Gloria. We got you. Don't worry.
Is she on?
Sorry,
okay. Hey, Gloria.
No problem. Hi, everybody.
Hey, girl.
Hi. I'm so sorry. I should have planned just in case, because I low-key was hoping this would happen. Are you going to Gloria though? No problem if that's the plan.
Gloria, you know what? If you can just hold on, Adatola. I'm gonna do Gloria, and then I can take care of you right after her. And yours doesn't have to be a live hot seat either. So we can do it that way. But we will get you done tonight. Okay, Miss Gloria, come on in. Kashana, can we get Gloria up? And if you guys see me looking around the screen, Gloria was kind enough to fill out my survey. I have her answers here.
Hello.
Hi, Gloria.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I have zero problems and complaints. My belly is full. My family is safe. I'm here talking to you. Okay, so are you comfortable with me sharing the answers from the survey with you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so everybody, first thing that I asked, what statement best represents your current opinion of your personal brand? And Gloria shared that she is lost and she has nowhere to begin. Now, those aren't her words, those are mine. The next thing I asked is, where are her personal brand touch points? She said LinkedIn. And then I said, after people experience your personal brand, what would you like them to walk away thinking, believing about you? She said that I am a relationship builder, authentic, passionate, and underrepresented, etc. Finally, I said, if your personal brand were building, what would it look like, smell like, and feel like? She said it would look like a palace, smell like passion fruit, I don't know emoji, and feel like home, where we have the highest authentic conversations. Gloria, is that right? Did we lose her?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay. So share with me why you feel like you're lost when it comes to building your personal brand.
I guess my environment, and sometimes I feel like I don't, I try to be my authentic self, but sometimes I feel like I don't drive my message home, because I sometimes want people to feel comfortable around me.
And so have you done any type of assessment of your personality? Have you done any type of like strength finder, people skills, Myers-Briggs, anything like that?
No.
Okay, so that's your first piece of homework. Okay, I want you to make sure that you take one of these personality assessments. Now, one of the ones that I super duper love, and it's free, it's called 16 Personalities. And 16 personalities not only has their own archetypes for personalities, there's 16 of them, but they also pair it with Myers-Briggs. Okay. hear people say, I'm INFP or I'm ENFJ. That's a Myers-Briggs breakdown. And so I want you to take this personality assessment because it will inform you as to maybe how other people are seeing you. And it will give you the major components of this SWOT analysis. Are you familiar with the SWOT analysis?
Yes.
Okay, so when people think of SWOT analysis, they always think about corporations, that have millions of dollars, unlimited resources, and they're trying to break down a problem or situation inside of the organization. I use a SWOT analysis a lot as a personal branding because you need to understand your strengths and your weaknesses in order to really be able to project who you are to the people who you want to have an impact on. So when you're thinking about your strengths and your weaknesses, then you have to go by and go the next level and say, what are my opportunities? What opportunities are on the table for me? And then after you say, okay, well, what are my opportunities? Then you say, well, what are the threats to those opportunities? Right? And so what are your personal strengths? Gloria.
Hello?
Are you there? Okay.
Yes, I'm here.
What are your personal strengths? Can you give me a couple of your strengths?
Yes. I'm a hard worker, I'd say. Someone who communicates well, and an empathetic person.
Okay, that's great. Now give me some weaknesses.
Weaknesses. I would say, being a hard worker, sometimes I don't really find time for self-care, and I sometimes feel like yeah, I would say my weakness is, overworking and not thinking, bringing work home.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what opportunities are you seeking?
Can you rephrase that question, please?
Sure. So whenever you're creating your personal brand, right, or when you're honing your personal brand, you're doing so with some objective in mind. So it may create more opportunities in terms of speaking, being a thought leader. You may want a better position. You may want to move up in your vertical.
I would say, being a better communicator, better leader, thought leader.
And what threats to your opportunities can you see?
Communication.
And who do you need to communicate with better?
I would say my immediate supervisors, people around me.
Okay, so
yeah,
this was great. I have a worksheet that's going to be available in the group, and it's going to be a SWOT analysis, and you're going to do a deeper dive on that worksheet because, of course, I have you here on the spot. That's why this is called the hot seat. But when we're offline, I want you to take this worksheet and print it out, and I want you to do this exercise in depth. But right now, I'm just going to give you an overview of how you can pull this in and use this information in order to be able to polish your personal brand. So you have the strengths of being a great communicator, but yet you find that communication is a threat with your immediate supervisor. It's a threat to your opportunities of moving up in your vertical and being a better leader. So what I want you to do is I want you to evaluate your style of communication. And that is why that 16 personalities is so important. Because when we think about brands, let's use a corporate brand like McDonald's or Coca-Cola. When we see McDonald's, we think about happiness. We think about, satiating our hunger. We think about getting things fast. And I know this because that is how they project themselves. These are the things that they're constantly sharing with us and constantly telling us. So we can't go in the workplace with advertisements all over our clothes saying that we're hard workers and we communicate well. We have to show that in our actions. And so I want you to think about how you are really positioning yourself with your peers, with your counterparts, and also with direct management, right? And then think about the people who are seeing you and experiencing you, and you never get to directly interact with those people. So you're supposed to use your strengths in order to get those people to recognize you, to achieve your end, which is to becoming a better leader or becoming a leader, maybe being invited to some managerial roles. So you're going to look at those communication styles, and because you're empathetic, that makes you a great communicator, because that means you can sense how people are feeling and you can shift your communication and your language in order to be able to make those people feel comfortable in those situations, so you can get your point across, so you can get the objective accomplished. So I want you to make sure that you are really paying attention to what you say are your strengths, because those are the things that you want people to pay attention to the most. And then your weaknesses, you mentioned overworking, bringing work home, maybe not having the best self-care. If you do not address those things, they're going to directly impact all of your strengths. So some of your strengths will then be turned into weaknesses and diminish your ability to achieve the end that you want. So this homework is really important, and I want to make sure that I'm going to make sure you get that worksheet. I do have your email address. I can just email this to you. So we're going to move on to the second part of the exercise. And the second part of the exercise is all about who you are personally and who you are professionally. When Kashana and I do our branding talk, we talk about how she loves Venn diagrams and circular diagrams that overlap, and I make fun of her, but it's really, really efficient. It's an efficient way of outlining just how things are supposed to work. So who you are professionally and who you are personally need to overlap. And when they overlap, that piece in the middle, that's the sweet spot. So in this next exercise, when you get your homework, I want you to look at this exercise and I want you to write down who you are professionally and who you are personally. And that space in the middle, if there is no overlap, or if these two spheres are so far apart, then you're going to need to tighten that up so that you're not too far outside of who you are individually on your own time, and you're not too far into your professional life, because that is your brand, that space in the middle. That's what people see, that's what people experience, and that's what people come to know, like, and trust enough to give you opportunities, enough to invite you to the table. So I want you to be thinking about who you are personally and who you are professionally. The next thing I want you to think about is how you share yourself with the world. Now, you mentioned that you are on LinkedIn, and I like LinkedIn because LinkedIn gives you the ability to share both spheres. It allows you to have this dialogue with people in a very informal way, but it also is a formal setting so that you can court opportunities and network and share things professionally. So if you are maximizing your LinkedIn, you'll be able to really form a full picture of just who you are in those personal and professional spheres. And if you're having trouble doing that, then I would say complete the exercise, and the exercises will inform just what type of content you share. And you don't have to be some major influencer, blogger, or thought leader in order to share your thoughts, in order to share your expertise. Because again, that is what people are going to be looking for when it comes to being a brand, right? And all of us have a brand, no matter if you share content or information or your thoughts or your ideas or your values, we all have a brand. But if you want to break through the noise and you want some eyeballs on you and how you are in the marketplace, then you're going to want to share some content that people can see, so people can see your thoughts and understand where you're coming from. So after that, the next thing that we're going to do is I want you to identify your differentiators. Now, this is something that I keep talking about again and again and again. We a lot of times don't understand how to share what makes us unique, what makes us different, what we do better than every other person. So I want you to start thinking about what differentiates you. You can start on a small scale in your office, in your workplace. What differentiates you from your counterparts? And I want you to dig a little bit deeper than something like, well, I work really hard, or I'm easy to talk to, or I'm a supportive team member. I want you to name specific things that you do better than anybody else around you, because essentially that is the foundation of what's going to get those eyeballs on you and what's going to position you to move up that upward trajectory. The next thing is how can I promote myself? How can I let everybody know that I'm awesome? Now that I know who I am in the workplace, now that I know who I am personally, now that I've identified my differentiators, well, how am I going to promote that? And I think there is a culture of being humble and being understated, and we confuse that with not being. We confuse being humble and understated for somehow being more virtuous. But if you're quiet about who you are, and if you're not sharing what you know, and if you're not sharing why you're good at what you do, then nobody is going to understand. People can't read your mind. So you have to learn how to share who you are. You can do that through the written word. You can do that through video. You can do that through giving case studies of things that you've done in the workplace. You can do that through testimonial. LinkedIn, again, is a great place because it's got built-in testimonial. People vouch for you. They say, yes, I know that she has this skill in teaching and presenting. I know she knows this software. I know she knows how to network, et cetera, et cetera. LinkedIn gives you unlimited opportunities to be vouched for. So how are you promoting yourself? And finally, what metrics do you use to evaluate your reputation? I'll say that again. What metrics do you use to evaluate your reputation? You have to know what metrics define your level of success. So when you're gauging your reputation, which is really what other people think about you, what categories are you looking at? What categories are you measuring? Those will be the things that inform your metrics. So if you're looking at how many new connections you get, how many times you're invited to networking events, how many times you've been called, even if you're not necessarily moving up right now, how many times has your direct supervisor asked for your input? How many times have they told you they value your input? How many times have they given you projects and just didn't micromanage you and just let you fly? Whatever your metrics are, you need to evaluate them, because those are your key performance indicators that let you know if all of these previous efforts we just talked about are actually working. So once you define your metrics, you can say, okay, you know what? I thought that this was my differentiator. It's not. I thought this was a weakness. It's not. Let me tweak this. Let me tweak that. And then you can start measuring that success and measuring whether or not all these things are working to your desired end. I know that was a lot that I just threw at you, but this is how you start to get a foothold when you're lost with your personal brand. You conduct that SWOT analysis and you ask yourself these very direct and pointed questions, and the answers inform your next steps. How are you feeling with this information, Gloria? Gloria, are you there? Hey, how are you feeling with this information?
I actually feel more confident.
Excellent.
than I've been feeling. So I appreciate the information. It's really helpful.
Do you have any other questions that maybe I didn't address, or are there some other things that I could answer for you or give you some information about. I talked about some very foundational things, but then there's another component, which is how you speak, your voice, or your visuals. Do you have any questions about anything like that?
So I was listening very closely to what you're saying, but I also have another perspective. Having I'm coming from a different culture.
Okay, understood.
Where it's I'm coming from a culture where we are not really taught, to really maybe when you're talking, you don't really look into someone's eyes, which is very prevalent in the workplace and here. So I find myself still assimilating into the American culture.
Yes, okay.
And that's why I really appreciate perspectives like this. And sometimes I'm like, doing away with a part of, myself.
I understand completely. So with that being said, I think you're probably going to need to sit with everything that I said for a while. So I would like to offer to you a week of email support. So when you get these documents, I'm going to email them to you directly, but everybody else, these documents will be in the file section of our group. And Gloria, you have my email address. So I want you, after you've had a chance to kind of work through these worksheets, to just shoot me some questions via email. I'll be available to you from now until April 7th in my email, and you can just shoot whatever questions you have, and I'll be more than happy to help you with anything you need.
I appreciate it so much.
Oh, no problem. No problem at all. Kashana, can we bring up Adetola now? Or Tiffany, either one?
Yeah, here we are. Hold on. Thank you, Gloria.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Gloria, I'm so grateful to you for being brave enough to let me share all your tea all over the internet.
No problem.
Awesome.
Okay, Kiana says, taking serious notes because I need a rebrand, all caps. Moving from COO to fundraising, people know me in programming, ED in operational capacity. Look, let me get my coins together. Yes, ma'am, Ma.
I love it. Okay, Adetola is unmuted. Hold on. I think she's unmuted. Wait a minute. No, maybe more. Okay, I'm gonna.
Hi.
There she goes. Hi.
Hey, Adetola.
Hello. This has been awesome so far. Wow.
So I need you to just break it down for me what you're experiencing.
So I think that I struggle with actually defining my personal brand as beyond what I currently do in the moment. I think that I have defined not only my brand, but honestly, a lot of my identity in my career thus far, very much connected to what I was doing at the time for work. And as I try to think about my long-term goals, I'm really trying to parse out what is my personal brand and what elements of those are connected to my professional work, and what is sort of just unique to me and who I am as a person, which will last far beyond wherever I happen to be working in the moment.
So so you're telling me that you have a brand currently, you believe that your brand is rooted in your past work?
Yeah, I believe that it feels like my brand it continues to be tied to what I'm doing. So I've been in my current organization for 4 years. And then the 4 years before that, it was tied to that work I was doing in the prior role. And so there are some things that are core to who I am that I think I've brought. But when I try to articulate it from a brand perspective, I struggle to move beyond what I currently am doing, the work that happens to be in that moment, as opposed to this broader naming of all the things that make me Adetola, that can include my work, but also just what draws me, what distinguishes me from other people doing the work that I happen to be doing at the time. I'm trying to figure out how do I pull apart from what I just happen to be doing at the moment.
And where are you sharing yourself? What are your touch points beyond where you're currently employed?
So that's another thing. I really have fought, and Kashana can speak to this too, because she's seen me push back on this. I'm not really, I don't really have an established sort of social media broad presence. So all my social media platforms, for the most part, I engage with people who I know and who I've known, for a while. So things like Instagram and Facebook and all that. LinkedIn is the only platform that I have that is sort of public, where people who are getting to know me and my work and my brand, I guess, can engage with me in a new way for the first time. And so the touch points that people have with me, they wouldn't actually see them if they don't already know me and have a connection, unless it's via LinkedIn, where I'm mainly just resharing content that I think is interesting and honestly relevant to the work that I do.
And so what I'm going to say, I'm not going to be hard on you, but I am going to share with you that it's going to be really difficult to differentiate yourself in the marketplace where so many people are seeking to validate people based on what they see online. So it's going to become imperative for you to pick a poison. Now, it sounds to me that if you really want to differentiate yourself from what you're doing right now, you're going to have to give us some information, some content, or something that we can bite on that's just exclusively you, something that you can carry into any role, not something that makes you a generalist, but or anything that makes you a specialist, but more so give us information about you in particular, your thoughts, your opinions, your views. And if you're not doing that somewhere where I can dial in on my free time, because it's going to be great to meet you at an event, but let's just face it, like, here we are, we're not meeting anybody in person anytime soon. So this is a great opportunity for you to, get a Wix site, a Squarespace, start writing about what makes you passionate. And if you're not ready to even jump out into starting a website, perhaps you could just start a daily journal in Evernote or in some other word processing place, Google Docs, Word, and you start writing about what you feel passionate about. Start writing articles. If you read the New York Times, the Washington Post every day, if you're reading something from AFP, if you're reading some other industry rag, then you can take some article and write your thoughts to that article, write your opinion upon what somebody else has written. But we need to be able to understand who you are. And if you don't give me an opportunity to do that, it's going to become quite easy for me to overlook you. So your differentiators are going to disappear in a space now where we are all going to be more and more online. And I don't want to scare anybody, and I don't want anybody to receive any anxiety from me right now, but I need everybody to understand that the way we work is now different forever. Right? Because now employers are seeing that, oh, wait a minute, people are productive from home. And there's going to be a lot of fear, going back into the workplace and trying to go back into brick and mortar. And so that means that all of us need to try to differentiate ourselves in these online spaces. So you don't have to be omnipresent. You don't have to be on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, but you do need to be somewhere where you're going to show up and be effectual. Does that make sense, Adetola?
Absolutely. And actually, it's funny that we're talking about this, picking a space to be effectual. I just started a public Twitter 2 days ago, or I think it was actually yesterday, for the first time. And so I'm trying to figure out, what does that even look like? And what do I want to be talking about? and I am also doing for my work right now, like writing some pieces that I'm trying to get published. So I'm trying to think about, since I'm flexing that muscle now, how can I sort of lean into LinkedIn more and write more frequently about what I'm seeing in the world, so that people can see more of me,
Yes.
because it's
So
definitely not out there right now very
so let me
clearly.
give you something to help you streamline. This is something that, you know, a lot of content creators use. It's called a content calendar, right? So now you can see what's coming up. We know the holidays that are coming up. We know we've got some solstices coming up. You know, we know exactly what's happening. So you can look down the road and you can say, okay, for the month of April, these are the things I'm going to write about. These are the things I'm going to tweet about. These are the things I'm going to speak about, because the world is inundated with COVID, right? So we don't necessarily need more of that, but there's so many peripheral issues, right? And there's just things that don't have anything to do with that you could write about and speak about. So if you plan it, I like to use Google Sheets, okay? I put the months and on the tabs, and then I put all of my touch points on the left-hand side, and then I decide what my theme is going to be, what my objective is going to be. Your objective, Adetola, is brand awareness, okay? This is the marketing activation that you are participating in, brand awareness. You want people to know who you are, what your values are, what you stand for, and what opportunities you are seeking. So anything that you put on your content calendar that does not speak to brand awareness does not fit, right? Not kitten videos, not somebody doing a Tootsie Roll, not Megan Thee Stallion's challenge. It needs to all be about brand awareness. Am I making sense?
Yeah, this definitely resonates. I love the idea of a calendar, and as somebody who really appreciates structure, anything like that will give me the guidance and the framework is so helpful. So you were saying that Google has a good tool for that?
Yeah, I was saying I use Google Sheets.
Okay.
Now, some of my clients have a calendar outside, like maybe in a private or a personal email account, because you know every Gmail you get all the bells and whistles. So you can use your Gmail calendar. Mine is color coded to the max. As a visual person, obviously as a creative director, so I have all of my stuff in there color coded, and it's really great. And then I have a separate calendar because I'm also a fine artist. So when I'm working on pieces and I'm collaging and I'm doing the work, trying to find images, I have, you know, all this information dialed in there with all these great reminders. And so that may be good for you. I say, be flexible, try a couple of systems out. Some people use ClickUp, some people use Asana, some people use Trello, whatever works for you. But I would just, you know, the objective is to outline your content. Because once you know what you're going to talk about, it then becomes very easy to write. It becomes easy to schedule tweets and Facebook posts or wherever you're going to be. So I say you've already picked your poison. Looks like your poison is LinkedIn and Twitter. Those are your touch points. You are an author. You are a thought leader. So whatever you create needs to be in that vein. It does not need to be passive. It needs to be authoritative. And you need to let people know that you have an opinion. You need to start responding to people and offering your guidance and support and information so that people can look to you in that particular content area. So those are your goals and those are your objectives, and anything outside of that is not on the menu. And in a month, I want you to write down how many new Twitter followers you have, how many more connections you have, and how many times you got an article placed or you received some other opportunity. Why do we need to collect this data? Because we need to know if the moves are working. That's how you know your personal brand is effectual. That's how you know you're making an impact. Is that helpful, Adetola? I feel like I've been saying all the words.
Oh no, that is so, so helpful. I mean, and this is something that I know I need to push myself on, because I have so many opinions I just don't put out there a lot. But if somebody knows me and they're having conversations, that's when they hear it. So pushing myself to sort of put it out there regularly. I think Twitter is an exciting platform, and pairing it with LinkedIn and just being more strategic with LinkedIn, I think will help me do that. And I love the idea of kind of setting some goals for a month to look at, the followers, articles written, just to track and hold myself accountable to this.
Yes.
So helpful.
So the last thing that I want to leave you with is, whenever you feel some trepidation about sharing your thoughts and opinions and views, nobody pays attention to the lukewarm people. You have to have a position, and sometimes that position is going to be contrary to what the popular movement is or what the popular ideas are, but you are the thought leader and you are the authoritarian, and you need to make sure that you don't become intimidated by the weight of others' opinions, right? So we get into Oshua's thing and we're talking about worth. We're not necessarily worried about people who don't value our thing, right? So just remember that when it starts to feel like, oh man, I know this is good, but I don't want to share it because I don't want to ... We're not doing any ellipsis thinking here. If that ellipsis comes in, that ... we don't want that. We want the polarizing content, because that is where memory begins. That is how we're going to position ourselves in the mind of the people who we really want to work with. So don't be afraid. Remember, you know what you know, you're good at what you do, and don't be beleaguered by the possibility of somebody not appreciating what you have to offer.
Yes. Thank you. That is so powerful. And I feel like you got to the core of what has kind of stopped me from doing this earlier. That trepidation and sort of that concern about how people are going to respond, and that just naming that people don't pay attention to lukewarm views. I feel like that was the kick in the rear I needed.
I was like, I just want to know, we have so many mic dropping moments in this group. What? People don't pay attention to the lukewarm people. You gotta say it like that at a dollar. Oh my gosh. Woo!
I'm telling you, that one's gonna stick with me.
I will reach out to you as well for that week of email support. If you just want to share with me maybe your content calendar or some ideas that you have, just so I can keep you honest until you actually, spread your wings. I'll offer you the same thing that I offered to Gloria. I will side message you and give you my email address so that you can be held, have somebody to help you with your accountability that's not Kashana.
Thank you so much. I would so appreciate that. I'm so grateful for you.
No problem. I'm glad I could help.
Thank you again. This was amazing. Thanks.
All right, so looks like tomorrow night it's only fair that I do 2 sessions as well. So if I have somebody on the calendar, but if you are somebody who needs a little kick in the pants, just stay on, and I will do my best to get you the help you need for your brand.
Half people stayed on tonight for this. I mean, some of us big rockets at 6 o'clock. I'd appreciate you. I'd have made a casserole. My dog, I finished it, y'all. I ate it. Okay. Michaela just said I learned a buttload by listening to Adetola's Hotseat. We need photos of the casserole. I just want to say, it tastes delicious.
But it was ugly.
Look like the Pinterest photo. You have to compare. I got a COVID my whole house, right? So when you gotta have the laptop perched over here because I can't touch it, and then you gotta have the food this way, and then I had and then I had to keep wiping the counters down, and then I was spraying with it was just like a lot. Like, Sanai's still washing dishes, and she's been in there for 40 minutes. I don't know what's happening in there. But yes, I will send y'all a picture. I will plate it properly is what I will do, and I will put parsley on it. Because as I'm learning a Noom, I was telling everybody I'm doing Noom to help me with my relationship with food. That one of the things that is important in our food relationship is the visual aspect when something is plated well. Michaela says, "Is it gone?" I only had this much of a scoop. My calories. I was holding on to it. Kiana done baked the whole turkey. She said, literally, I done baked a whole turkey. I love this girl. When I was like, come with your bonnet, bake your dinners. This is what we need to do. I love it. I'm so excited. Rochelle, you just continue to provide so much value to this group and to just continue to offer yourself. Folk, listen, and everything ain't gonna be free forever, okay? And I don't want to see none of y'all dip out when it ain't free no more, okay? Just, all right? They're just gonna keep up in the level of expertise, and we will have Rochelle at our complete disposal at the Rooted Retreat, which is where y'all need to go to go on and sign up. Let me just put it in real. Is it the? No, it's the. Oh Lord,
TheRootedRetreat.com.
Amen. Rootedretreat.com. I was like, is it the? Okay, so get your spot. Okay, make sure that y'all are going to be able to be there together with us. We're going to send out a survey at the end of this conference so we can get some feedback from everyone. The prices do go up tomorrow at the end of this conference, so please make sure you go on and just grab your spot. You can do your deposit and then your balance later. I hope everybody is well and taking care of yourself and are feeling full from the information you're getting, full from nourishment in your body, full from time with your family if you are in a good space with your family, and an opportunity to be able to learn and grow and be still, whichever one of the things you need in this particular season and moment in your life. God willing, we'll be back again tomorrow for our last day, which we have with all, that's going to be all the outside stuff, which I love. We're going to be doing fashion wardrobe styling because we're going to need some help. Yeah, after we done been in the house for months, we will have forgotten how to shop. And we were like, but about the mannequin though, I just
need a girdle is what we're going to need.
True. Oh, period paragraph. We are working to partner with CFRE International. They are coming on as a sponsor, so we will have the retreat as getting CFRE credit. I just can't put it official tissue on the site until I ink the deal and get the check. So we are getting more sponsors behind the scenes. So the Rooted Retreat will be able to satisfy CFRE credits, and because it is almost 3 days, we're just working on what that looks like for us. So yes, thank you so much for asking that question. But tomorrow is going to be on wardrobe and styling. It's going to be on what's next for your career, and it's going to be on what your resume says about you. And then we'll do our last hot seat, and then we're going to send y'all off into the week, and I'm asleep because I don't know. I'm on a lot of podcast stuff this week. I don't know when I said yes to any of this stuff. And so Tiffany is stopping me now. She's like, no one talks to Kashana without talking to me. Yeah, her calendar.
No more.
Look.
The muscle. She's the muscle.
No one. I can't even, that's how you know my chest still hurt, because I can't be like, no one. I can't get in my guttural. No, it's fine. I love each and every one of y'all dearly. Thank you for hanging out with us. If you are watching this replay, I hope you were able to pull out your pen and pencil and your notepad and get you some notes, because nothing but gems dropping, bombs dropping all night in the Rooted Collaborative. Thank each and every one of you. Tip the DJ. I'm kidding. I didn't play the music. And I will see y'all all, God willing, tomorrow. Be well. Have a wonderful day working at home. Make sure you take moments to drink your water. Put on some good moisturizer. As Tiffany would say, put on sunblock, even though you're not going outside. That's how her skin looks dewy and fresh. I think it's because she's still in her 20s and I'm an old lady. But either way, don't let her hear you. Okay? Don't let her hear you. Okay? And we will see you back tomorrow. Good night, y'all.
Good night.